Welcome to We Repair Stuff. Today we are replacing the motherboard on the Samsung Tab 3 7-inch. It's a fairly straightforward job to do. It's one of the more involved ones. So first thing we need to do is remove the Samsung Tab 3 from its chassis in order to get to the motherboard inside. So you need to work your way around the edge of the screen, just very gently levering outwards, um, and that will allow you to pry out the mid frame. You need to work yourself all the way around, and then you'll probably need to do it a couple of times just to release it enough. The corners will be particularly tricky. So as I say, just keep working your way around the frame, just being careful of the power buttons and the volume buttons. Also, if you have a micro SD card in your tab, you will need to remove it first before you start this. Otherwise, there's potential you'll snap it. So again, just being very gentle, prying upwards, and eventually you will release it. So once you've pried the back off of the mid frame, what you need to do is remove the piece of tape at the very bottom, and then disconnect the battery, because the last thing we want to do is do damage to the board. We will also need to remove the battery and a number of the components in order to get to the actual motherboard and do the repair. So first thing we're going to do is disconnect the battery. There's 4 screws holding it in place. Just work your way around and remove each of them in turn. If they don't come all the way out, don't worry too much, just unscrew them fully and move on to the next one. And then when you release the battery, you'll be able to remove the screw fully. Next thing we do is remove the 2 screws holding the headphones jack in place, and disconnect it. You don't have to remove it, but it will make your life easier when you're putting the board back in. And then we will work our way around and disconnect the various flexes that are connected to the board. They all just pop up. Again, there's 5 of them in total. So then once we've done that, we will work our way around the board, removing each of the screws. I think there's 7 in total, 8 in total, if I remember rightly, 7 in total. And again, the board will come out in one piece once all the screws have been removed. It is a little bit of a fiddle to get it back in again though. So again, once you've done that, just lift it up very gently and it should just come out in one big piece. And there we go, that's our board removed. And then we can take our new board and replace that. So now we take our board and we will fit that back in again. You just have to be very careful of all of the flex cables so you don't screw anything down on top of anything. Again, it will line up with a number of the little dots on the board so you know you've got it in the right place. So the next thing we do is we pop all of our screws back in. Again, just working your way around until you popped all 7 screws back in. Off camera I have a magnetic mat that holds my screws so that I keep them in the same order I take them out in, so that I know that I fit everything back in the right place. So that's the base screws done. Now we just have to work our way up the side of the device and fit the final one along the top. And then once we've finished screwing everything back in place, we need to reconnect the various ribbons back to the board. Again, they will all go back in a particular order. It's very straightforward to get them all back down. And then once we've done that, we are going to fit our headphones jack back in place again, pop that back down into the board, and then screw the little two screws to hold it back down again. Again, this is a very straightforward process to go through. And again, as you can see, it's very easy to replace either the battery or the headphones jack. You have to remove them anyway to get to the board. So again, push the battery down on the outer edge, and the next thing to do is pop our 4 screws back in to hold it down. The very last thing we'll do after we've put the battery back in is to reconnect the battery, pop a little bit of tape over the battery cable, and then all we have to do finally is pop the back on again, and that's our replacement done. So finally, just reconnecting the battery now. So reconnect the battery back up, a little bit of tape over the top. And again, what we will do is we'll take the mid frame with all the components in it, we will line it up with the top of the back. And then again, just working your way around the edge of the device very carefully, pushing it back into place, and everything will just click in. And again, it's a really straightforward process. You just have to take it very slow when you're doing it. And that's it. I hope you've enjoyed our repair guide. Thanks for watching.